Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and today is Artifact, Land, and Multicolored Preview Day for Time Spiral Remastered. And I've got some artifacts and lands to show off to you. Let's do it. Many years ago, in Invasion, there was a simple card named Chromatic Sphere. And it was a pretty good limited mana fixer, so it was popular enough. And when Mirrodin rolled around, it was reprinted. It made a lot of sense. An artifact set and a mana fixer, what's not to love? Well, I'll tell you what's not to love. It's mana abilities that draw you cards as you use them. The reason why is mana abilities are allowed to rewind. You can start casting a spell, and then you can stop midway through, untap your mana, and you're good to go. But when you draw a card, things get tricky. For example, in Mirrodin, there was a situation where you would lock in your affinity for artifact spell, so it would cost one less. You would sacrifice a Chromatic Sphere to pay for that artifact while the cost was reduced. Then you would draw a card while you were still trying to cast the spell. Tricky indeed. Now, it did all work within the rules. It was just a little bit weird. For example, sometimes you would draw a card face down into your hand. Not the most intuitive thing. So Chromatic Sphere was placed on the, maybe let's not do this one again anytime soon list for a while. Flash forward to Time Spiral, and the team sees the perfect opportunity to create a fixed Chromatic Sphere. It's not only a reference to a previous Magic card, but it would do some good limited mana fixing for the set. And so Chromatic Star is created, one of my preview cards for today. The way the design team solved the problem was by making the mana ability and the draw ability separate, which works out pretty well, but does open up a whole host of scenarios where you just sacrifice the star without paying mana and draw a card. And in part because of this change, it has shown up in a ton of successful decks throughout Magic's history, all the way from Affinity to Krark Clan Ironworks to even just Tron. Chromatic Star gets around. And now it's here with brand new artwork to boot. Speaking of sacrificing things, one rare land reprint that I get to show you today is Flagstones of Trocaire. What I love about Flagstones of Trocaire is that you look at it and you're not sure initially what to do with it. But then as you start to deck build, a lot of possibilities become apparent. For example, it's great with landfall. Play a second one, you'll get 2 more landfall triggers. It's also really good though with cards like Boom Bust. You can boom your Flagstones of Trocaire and their land to get a land out of the deal. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this card. If you expect your lands to get blown up, either by your opponents or just by you, Flagstones of Trocaire is the card that you want. And finally, my bonus sheet card of the day. Something Ben Hayes thought could be really fun is if there was a cycle of 5 lands on the bonus sheet, 1 for each color, but they were each part of a different individual cycle. Now that's Time Spiral for you. I'm going to be showing off this white producing land in this very strange cycle, hailing from a very, very powerful cycle of Magic's history, so good that multiple cards in it have been banned. We have Ancient Den. The artifact lands are incredibly powerful, and because of decks like Affinity, they've been played basically since the moment they were released. Now this version looks pretty wild. It's kind of like the Corsair Crucifix without the Nyx enchantment frame that's also in this set. Now this is the only artifact land on the bonus sheet for Time Spiral Remastered, and I'm really curious to know what you all think about it. I think there's a good chance we'll do more old card frame cards in the future, given how much you all have loved these. So would you like to see the rest of the artifact land show up to complete your cycle? Or are you thinking, nah, not for me? Let me know in the comments down below. That brings us to the end of themed preview days for Time Spiral Remastered. But don't go anywhere just yet. I've got one more fun thing for you tomorrow that you will not want to miss. So I hope to see you then. In the meantime though, may you not have to draw a card while you're resolving a mana ability. Seriously, you just don't want to do it. You got this. And this is a big one. I mean, it's truly giant. It's a card you all have asked for since you first heard about the bonus sheet. And that card is Primeval Titan. The only one of the 5 Titan cycle to show up in Time Spiral Remastered, this card is a modern staple.